Welcome back to my channel. I'm Brandy, and we are delving into another horror media monthly video. I have been absolutely loving these videos every single month. I've been looking forward to the shows, the movies, the games, all of the media that I get to show you guys because obviously I love horror and I love talking about it and I love sharing that with all of you. So hopefully you guys have been enjoying this series so far. If you've missed any of the previous episodes, you can check it out here. I'm going to put a playlist. Check those previous episodes and whatever episodes come after this. And if you don't know, I actually put up new videos here every single day at 4 p.m. Eastern. Feel free to check everything out. Subscribe if it is your cup of tea. And you can also check me out over on Twitch Monday through Thursday at 9 p.m. Pretty much all of the games that I talk about during the media monthly wrap-ups are games that I originally stream over there. I also put them up on my second channel if you ever want full playthroughs if it's not on this channel. So check out my VOD channel, go to that stuff, do the things, but I'm not going to talk your ear off anymore on that. We're going to get into all of the horror content that I consumed this month, and I kind of went a slightly different direction this month with some things, so hopefully you enjoy what I got to share, but we're going to get into it. First off, we're going to start with the movies that I checked out this month. Now, I was a little bit lacking in the movies, but I did see a couple of good ones, and the first of that being The Strangers Chapter 1. Now, as somebody who is a big fan of the original first movie, that movie scared the absolute crap out of me. I was very excited to hear about this new trilogy was coming out, but I was also hesitant because it's somewhat meant to be a remake, but also a new story. So I was like, did it need a remake? I don't know. I was hesitant. But either way, going into it, in The Strangers Chapter 1, after their car breaks down in an eerie small town, a young couple is forced to spend the night in a remote cabin. Panic then ensues as they are terrorized by three masked strangers who strike with mercy and seemingly have no motive. It is just like the first movie, if you've ever seen it. The second one, again, it feels as though they just copied the same story. In my opinion, though, the acting was subpar, which stinks because I really like Madeline Pesh, who is the main character in this movie franchise. I loved watching her on Riverdale. I just, there was way too many times where I was like, why are we doing this? Why is this happening? Why are we not leaving? Why are you going there? What are we doing? There was too many moments that felt unrealistic. And they also had to make sure she was pretty in every scene. Like, I'm pretty sure they redid her makeup multiple times or fixed it between scenes. And it was like, she's bloody, she's dirty. Let her be those things. She can be a little ugly. It's okay. We don't need a new makeup scene every second. But aside from that, I mean, I enjoyed it for what it was. I would recommend watching it if you did like the other Strangers movies. But don't get too excited about it because I don't think it was anything to brag about. But definitely check it out. I think it just left theaters, so it probably will be on streaming soon, but Then second up for the movies I consumed, we threw it back. I actually did a watch party in my Discord server, which you're part of the Discord. I do these watch parties periodically. I'll put the information for my Discord below if you want to join. But we watched Killer Clowns from Outer Space because I had talked about playing the game last month in my previous video if you didn't check it out. And that was like the talk of the community, and so many had never seen the movie. So I was like, you know what, let's watch this. And I hadn't watched it since I was a kid, so I forgot a lot of it. So we delved into that, some good cheesy 80s horror classic movies. And for anyone that's not familiar with Killer Clowns, the breakdown of it is when teenagers Mike and Debbie see a comet crash outside their sleepy small town, they investigate and discover a pack of murderous aliens who look very much like circus clowns. They then try to warn the local authorities, but everyone just assumes that their story is a prank. Meanwhile, the clowns set about harvesting and eating as many people as they can, and not until they kidnap Debbie that Mike actually decides that it's time for him to stop the clowns and stop all of the killing that they're doing in the town. Which, if this sounds crazy to you, it's because it is. This movie is a trip. If you like cheesy horror movies, this is the movie for you. I am not going to say it's a great movie, because it's not. But it was so fun to watch, especially with friends when we watched it together, because we were all like talking and commentating like in chat while we were watching. which made it 10 times better. So, highly recommended as like a watch with friends. Don't take this movie too seriously. It's literally about killer clowns that came from outer space that are putting people in these like cotton candy cocoon things, and then they are eating them. Like, it's weird, but it's great. It's worth the watch if you like, more cheesy 80s horror movies. I watched this on Tubi. It was streaming for free on there. I think it's available for purchase on a couple other places, but Tubi is free as long as you're okay with watching a couple ads. Now, that was ironically the only horror movies that I ended up watching last month. I wasn't able to watch as much like TV and stuff as I wanted because I did delve into some other mediums during the month. But secondly, we're going to delve into the video games that I played during the month of June, starting with the Resident Evil Separate Ways DLC. Now, I recently partnered with Capcom. If you don't know Capcom, they make games like Resident Evil and Street Fighter and stuff like that. And I had gotten hooked up with like keys for this game and whatnot. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to do a whole event of it. I did an Ada Wong cosplay. I played the game. It was so fun. I'll put a link to the VOD over here if you want to check it out, the full thing. But it was such a great time, and I really loved this DLC. For any of you that haven't played it yet, the story begins with Ada in the village center. This is in Resident Evil 4 time. And after fighting off a pair of the Ganados, Ada is instructed by Whisker, ring the church bell, pacify the villagers, do all of the stuff, and then she notices that Leon is, having his own troubles of his own, and Ada ends up going, helping Leon, doing all the stuff for Wesker, all that jazz. Pretty much, if you're not familiar with this, but you've played Resident Evil 4, this is just Ada's story that follows the same timeline as Resident Evil 4's timeline. So all of the times that you see Ada involved in the story during the regular gameplay, it works this and all of the in-between bits in. Which was really cool, because I had never played this DLC for the original Resident Evil 4 when it came out. I had just played the original base game, so I was not familiar with this particular story. So getting to do it and doing it in character, it was so fun. I really enjoyed it. It felt exactly like playing Resident Evil 4 and playing Leon. So it just followed through with that, and I am such a Resident Evil girly. And I'm looking forward to hopefully more Resident Evil stuff in the future. I know there's some talks about potentially getting to the next couple of games. I am still holding out hope for a remake of Code Veronica, because I would love to play that game. But definitely recommend this. I personally played it on PS5, but it is also available on Steam and Xbox, and pretty much any place you can find it, you can find this game. So highly recommend picking it up. And it's cheap. It's a lot of content for a cheap price, so you can't beat that. Next up, we have an indie horror game that I attempted to play. Now, I will tell you why I word it that way. Now, I jumped into this game called The Black Within. This company had originally approached me when they had the demo out for this game and said, hey, we would like, if you check out this demo, give us your feedback, yada yada. So I had checked it out and whatnot. And as a result, they were like, hey, we'll put your name in the credits because you checked it out and you helped us with the establishment of this. So I was so excited that this game had officially released so I could actually try it out and play it, and like my name would be a part of it. However, the game was aggressively broken. But I don't want to get ahead of myself. Let me tell you about it first. The Black Within is a single-player, first-person psychological horror game set in 2007 and follows Layla Rose, a 38-year-old failed musician who ends up selling her soul to the devil for fame and wealth. The game explores themes of greed, fear, and change, and is designed to manipulate the player's psyche and emotions. This sounds great! It sounds great. I could not play it. Within the first 10 minutes of the game, my game crashed 5 times. And it wasn't like it crashed and then I had to refresh it. No, it literally closed the entire game and I had to reload it in Steam over and over again. And every time that it crashed, I had to reload from the previous checkpoint. So I had to keep redoing the same section over and over and over again. I know this game is from an indie company, so I want to give them some slack, but it's just unplayable right now. So I'm hoping to revisit this game and hopefully I can give you guys an actual review on it when it's playable. But for now, unfortunately, it's a little borked. It is available on Steam if you do want to check it out. It's not super expensive, so I feel like it would be worth the gamble, even if, you know, it doesn't get super fixed. I am in talks with the company, so hopefully things can, you know, get a move on there and I can try it out. But unfortunately, you know, not everything always works out, especially with indie companies. So there is, you know, we're to be seen on what comes next with this. And last up, in terms of games, I'm actually going to delve into a little bit of a multiplayer thing that I did this month, which, if any of you guys play Dead by Daylight, is one of my main games that I stream. They came out with a new chapter this past month, a Dungeons and Dragons chapter. It was so cool. It was so cool. If any of you haven't checked it out, it's the Flight of the Damned completes Vecna's arsenal, allowing the killer to conjure 5 flying spectral monstrosities that deal damage in a cone-shaped radius. And as tradition, the latest Dead by Daylight crossover includes a new survivor, which you technically get 2 survivors, because there is a male and a female. You get the skin included in it. So you get the technically 2 survivors, you get the new killer, there's a new map. It is honestly so cool. I think it adds a lot of new stuff to the game itself. Within the first couple of weeks, I feel like I saw everybody playing it, and now I don't see as many people playing as Vecna, but his perks are definitely ones that people are using frequently, as well as the new survivors are, and I see them in almost every game that I'm playing. And the new map is truly beautiful. I think DBD, you know, knocked it out of the park. So if you're not a DBD fan, I highly recommend checking it out. This chapter is available on Steam, Switch, all the places you can play Dead by Daylight. It's relatively cheap for the amount of content, but all of Dead by Daylight's chapters are relatively cheap and affordable. So if you haven't checked it out, definitely recommend it. And if you've never played Dead by Daylight, I highly recommend it. And for those of you that do play, let me know your favorite killer and survivor down in the comments below. I would love to talk more Dead by Daylight with you guys. And last but not least, I'm adding a new genre, I guess, to these Horror Media Monthly videos, and that is books. I got into some horror books this month. So first off, the book that I actually ended up finishing this month was a book that somebody had gotten off my wish list, and that is Ice9 Kills, the Silver Scream book, which, if you're not familiar with Ice9 Kills, they are a metal band that does a lot of songs that are based on iconic horror movies and such. And this book is going through their Silver Scream album, and each chapter is one of the songs, which is based off of a particular horror movie. For those that haven't read it, it is a true crime book that is about the Spencer Charnas case, which Spencer is the lead singer of Ice9 Kills. And the book basically goes into these murders that are happening and how Spencer may or may not be involved in them, while he talks to, like, his psychiatrist, who is, you know, kind of looking into what he's doing and not sure what exactly is going on. But it does a really good job of stringing you along, and you don't necessarily know who to root for in the book. And I really enjoyed it. For any of y'all that like reading, I recommend this. It was short, so it was a very quick read, and it, like I said, if you like Ice9 Kills, you're already going to be intrigued by this, and if you like horror movies. Clearly you do, because you came to the right place, but definitely check this one out. I personally got this on Amazon, but you can probably get it anywhere that, you know, books are sold, so you can really check this out anywhere. And then, going off of horror books, my friend Mostly, who has sent me some stuff in the past, send me some horror books. Now, I haven't read these yet, but they're going to be up on my agenda. So we've got The Woman in Cabin 10. This one is a psychological thriller that will keep readers spellbound. The intense final chapters just might induce heart palpitations. I don't know much about it, but it looks creepy, so definitely up my alley. And then next up we have Stephen King. He's, you know, the king of horror. And this one is The Long Walk. Against the wishes of his mother, 16-year-old Ray is about to compete in an annual grilling match of stamina and wit known as the Long Walk. 100 boys must keep a steady pace of 4 miles per hour without ever stopping, and the winner is awarded the prize, anything he wants for the rest of his life. As part of this national tournament that sweeps through America after year, there are harsh rules, and 99 others must adhere in order to beat the rest. There's no finish line, and the winner is the last man standing. 3 warnings and you're out of the game. Permanently. Ooh, that sounds really interesting. I don't know what to expect with that, but that's another one. And then last, we've got Welcome to the Dark House. Ivy Jensen, it's the eyes of the killer that haunt her night. For Parker Bradley, it's bloodthirsty sea serpents that slither in his dreams. Bro, what? I already don't know what this is about, but that sounds wild right off the rip, off of the first sentence. Not everyone is so charming, though. Horror film fanatic Garth Vader wants his thorough trouble. It's bad enough he has to stay in the middle of nowhere with this group. The girl who locks herself in a room, the know-it-all roommate, and the one who's too cheery for her own good. Someone has to make things interesting. Dude, these are such interesting books. But so I've been looking into more horror books, so I'll probably be reading more of those in the future. And if you guys want to see more books or have recommendations, feel free to leave those down below. And to wrap it all up, you guys know that I love showing you the physical media that I got. So I did go thrifting this month and I got a couple of movies. So first off, I got The Descent. This one's a classic. This movie always creeps me the heck out. So when I saw this, I was super excited to snag it. Highly recommend this movie if you haven't seen it. If you're not a fan of caves and small spaces, it might not be your cup of tea. Next up, I got Jurassic Park. I got Jurassic Park 3. What was it, last month? So I didn't remember if I had the first Jurassic Park on DVD or not, but this cover art was really cool. So I was like, I gotta grab this. And I don't think this needs any explanation. If you've never watched Jurassic Park, you probably live under a rock. Next up, we have The Ruins. I haven't seen this movie in so long, but I remember it creeping the absolute heck out of me when I did see it the first time. I feel like any of these movies where people go on like a vacation to some random island or old like ancient area or something, just weird shit happens. And weird shit happens in this movie. Very weird shit. And then last up for DVDs, we have Cloverfield. This movie, I feel like, set the stage for so many different like found footage recording type videos. Obviously that started with like Blair Witch and whatnot, but I feel like this took it in a slightly different direction. The only thing I don't particularly love about the Cloverfield movies is because of the camera angle, you're limited on what you can see, so you don't see that much. So I wish there was a little bit more, but this is still a good movie. And then lastly, my dad, who I've told that I've been doing this series, was like, oh, I have some movies for you. And my dad asked me, he said, do you collect VHS ones? And I said, I'm not really, because I don't have a means of watching VHS, but I was like, what do you got for me? And my dad brought me these 3 movies, which I was like, okay, these are classics. I can't pass this up. So I've got The Wolfman. This is literally like universal classic horror movie stuff, which I love. I love all of the old school horror villains and whatnot. Not to mention, I'm super excited. I don't know if any of y'all go to Universal, like the parks, but they announced that in Epic Universe, there's going to be a new horror section. Oh, I can't wait. I can't wait. We've got Nosferatu, like I said, classics. And then we've got The Mummy. And my dad actually gave me some posters of some of these classic like horror movies as well that I have in my living room. So it's kind of cool to have these copies. So I was like, yeah, I'll take these. Not that I have a means to watch these. I don't have a VHS player anymore. But like, these are so cool. How can you not think these are cool? You know? Classic, classic. And bringing it full circle to Dead by Daylight. When are we getting classic Universal horror villains? Any day now. But that is going to be my wrap up for the month of June. Hopefully you like that I took a slightly different direction with this month. I didn't consume as much media as I would have liked. Like I said, I was outside a lot more. I had a lot more family stuff. I was traveling in June for conventions, so I wasn't as home just like, you know, binge watching TV and whatnot. But I have already gotten a couple of movies in the month of July, so y'all are gonna have a stacked month next month. But hopefully you like this. If you did, give it a big thumbs up. Let me know your favorite thing from today's video, either a movie, a game, or one of the books that I mentioned, if it's something you've consumed or that you like and what you're looking forward to. And hopefully we can get into some more horror next month. But until then, bye!